The time being 6 o'clock, I'm going to call the Board of Health meeting to order. All members are present. Would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Do that again.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. First item on our agenda tonight are announcements from the Health Department. I will turn it over to Lindsay for that update.
All right, thank you for having me tonight. Just wanted to go over some of the stuff we've been popping on Facebook. We have two new flyers, information that are down in front of the health office and that are been circulating online. It's just information on rats and what to do, what constitutes a infestation, what we can as the health department do and what we cannot, clarifying some just information about that. We are not licensed exterminators. We don't employ licensed exterminators. We can't recommend any specific company, but we can give very specific mitigation recommendations. And so that is one of the big things. And another big thing that I keep hearing is that because we have rats in the community, we are a dirty community. And I would love to dispel that rumor. Rats are opportunistic, so they will go anywhere and everywhere as long as they have shelter, somewhere to sleep, eat and drink. And so they will find even a drop of water and a scrap of food in the drip pan of your outdoor grill. So that is some of information that I kind of forgot about the grill piece of it when I was putting this together. The other part of it is trash. We're getting a lot of phone calls. 'Tis the season for summer vacations. So our excellent trash and recycle drivers do in fact go on vacation. And with that, they have coverage. So the routes are being done differently. There is also road work, the trucks break down. With the strike, although the strike doesn't affect us directly because we are not serviced by Republic, the drivers are seeing longer wait times at the dump because Republic-owned dumps aren't open. And so the fallout from the strike, even though it's not directly affecting us, our trash truck driver's waiting in line to dump the truck longer than he would. So if your trash usually is picked up at 11 a.m. and now could be even 2 or 3 p.m., that's okay. They will get the route done. They have by the contract until 6 p.m. So what we're asking is that everyone be super patient through the summer and just going forward and wait and give the health department a call the next business day. They are doing their best. We're in constant contact with them anyway. And so, we are always talking back and forth and kind of have a general idea of what's going on if they're stuck at the dump waiting to empty the trucks or kind of where they're at. So yeah, that's that for the trash. We do ask that all bins be out by 7 a.m. because if there is road work, detours, construction, anything like that, and they get started in a different area of town than they're used to, or it's a new driver, stuff has to be out by 7 just so that it can get picked up. The health department office next week, due to training, our hours might be a little bit different. So kind of a segue in and out of that is thank you to Eddie. He has stepped away to spend time with his family. So the staffing downstairs is gonna look different. So we don't have Eddie to cover while we're at training. And so he will be very missed. So just keep an eye on social media, the out of office emails and stuff like that. Excuse me. Because if we're attending trainings and all that, we will just have to post that, how we can be,
Available.
thank you. I appreciate that. And as always, we're still looking for volunteers at the compost site.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Lindsay from the board? No. All right. So moving on to our discussion on action items for the evening. The first item on the agenda is a discussion regarding the body art regulations. This item should be actually pretty short. What I wanted to share, if we recall when we last looked at the body art regulations, there were a lot of changes that were made by town council that kind of didn't make the sense that we wanted to. I reached out to the town manager, and we are planning to have a conversation, Chris, myself, Greg Corbo, and the town manager, to ask what the heck is going on when we review our regulations, because this is now the third time where we get them back and they look nothing like the ones that we sent, and there's no reason why they were changed, or they have that the Abington Harbor Master will be taking care of things, things that make absolutely no sense. So the only thing that's holding that up, vacations, trying to schedule a time between 4 different people is a nightmare. So once we sort that out, hopefully by the fall, we'll be able to pick that back up and run with it. So that's just what we're waiting on. Get some clarity, or at least come up with some standard of when our regulations get reviewed. Can we make sure that redlined in the column, there's some explanation or some summary, lawyers' time, yeah, I understand that, but we need to be concise and clear with what's going on, so. That's that. Anything else related to the body art regulations past that? No?
No.
All right. With that, we'll move on. The next item is related to our current body art regulations, and we've received a request for a variance from our body art regulations, section 5C7, which everyone has a copy of, and I will read. And it says, a separate readily accessible sink with hot and cold running water under pressure, preferably equipped with wrist or foot-operated controls and supplied with liquid soap and disposable paper towels stored in fixed dispensers, shall be readily accessible within the establishment. Each operator area shall have a hand sink. And it's that last line that is the request for the variance. Lindsay, can you talk to maybe the map that we have in front of us a little bit?
Yeah, so we were asked if we could provide a variance to the shop listed. They are looking to set up a studio where there is a centralized hygiene area. There would be no crossing of workspaces. So someone who had been working on a client would not cross into another workspace. That was one of the questions that was asked. But there would not be, 4 workspaces. There would not be 4 individualized sinks. It would be that the one.
I think as long
sink.
as they have accessibility to a sink, that doesn't bother me, but I don't like that this door, I don't like that that hygiene area has a door, because that means if you have dirty hands, dirty gloves, then you are going to need to open and shut that doorknob.
There's no door. See the swing on those ones? There's no physical.
Still, I guess.
There's a
Is it
doorway.
sliding door?
No, it's just an opening.
Yeah,
This one has a door, the private tattooing area.
That's just an opening space, yeah.
So that would still be a problem then. So I guess that's fine, the hygiene area then. If there's no door, then all these separate bays would be able to get in there without cross-contaminating any other surfaces, but the door to this one has me concerned. That's my only thought, right off the bat.
So that is something that we can absolutely address. I'm wondering if, without seeing and talking to them, and Jason, I don't know if you can answer this, just with your ability to read plans a lot better than I can. If that is a push door, like an operating room door.
Yeah, then
where
that would
it's
be
you
okay.
push out.
This
So
kind
the-
of signifies a pocket door or some sort.
That's what I thought
It's not
too.
clean lines.
So, but this one, so
Right.
if the private tattoo area was a swing outdoor, where if you're in the OR, there's no,
Yeah.
and you're.
swinging, yes,
You're
your
able
hands
to
are safe, yes.
Here, your hands stay safe and you're able to either back into it or use your foot.
Yeah,
That's one thing, so that's something we can address with
Yeah.
them.
no
My understanding was that the
sliding
hygiene area was not going to have a door. It was a doorway, but nothing that you had to physically interact with.
good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the
No,
spot.
no, I just had a quick thing too. So you have, instead of these isolated single sinks, which we require currently, you want to have a community hygiene area here, which if we pass with or without the door, just find out what that is. But how do we keep control of now who is going to be in charge of keeping these clean, right? So you'd have your independent sink, each artist would be in charge of their own area, but now you've got 4 of them going in here.
So as part of the variance, we could write in there that that had to be an assigned role, be it the shop manager or,
Just so it's getting
Whoever's at
done,
the
they have
front
a log of
desk,
it.
making sure it's clean. But if it's disposable paper towels every time, like, it's not gonna be,
Well, you need a sanitization schedule and things like that.
right?
Who's gonna go in there and,
but yeah, so if put,
Yeah.
with that, putting the language in there that it needs to have the paper towels are refilled, the soaps constantly, that there is accountability there. I agree.
I also want to know where the janitorial sink is, because it says on number 12 on this page that at least one janitorial shall be provided in each body art establishment for use in cleaning the establishment. So, wastes can be disposed of and things. I see a bathroom in the
it
hygiene
could
I was
area.
gonna
be
say,
the
what's
mop
this?
sink right here.
Yeah.
Where's that?
So in the hygiene area, there's a secondary, it
So-
looks like,
So in the hygiene sink, we're going to also dispose of contaminated liquids.
we would do this, we would do the same thing in a, you can do that if it's
I
allowed.
think you're right, yeah.
We would do the same thing
Like,
in
if your
a,
hands are bloody,
Restaurants
that's like
do with
contamination,
mop
and
sink.
you're washing
Yeah, we have-
blood down the sink.
you do the same
I
thing.
just was trying to,
Right.
Even in healthcare, you have a,
I'm just saying it out loud because that,
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
it seems weird, but that's fine.
I know in restaurants why they do it that way, but I wouldn't know why they would do it like that in a tattoo parlor, but
I mean, as long as it's not connected and it's apart from each other, I
Yeah,
believe it's allowed.
they seem to be apart from each other. That's fine. Okay.
So do we wanna talk about how we would reword number 7?
Oh, I think we want to set what do we think? Not so much reword this, but what are the stipulations for the variance if we do want to grant it? Or do we want to grant, some partial version of the variance
Just
on this?
accountability for keeping it sanitized in that area, because now you're leaving it up to whoever out of 4.
Right.
So somebody needs to be dedicated for that. Because essentially, I'd be dedicated to sanitizing and keeping track of my own area, right? But now I didn't leave it there, Jimmy did it, or Billy did
Right.
it, or,
Right.
doesn't matter, there's still a problem, So I would just suggest that, and they do have the mop sink here, and it is isolated on the other side of the room, so, and I do believe, under those conditions, it's allowed.
So maybe we make sure that they can meet the guidelines that we want and then circle back and then work on the wording?
Well, I think if we can come up
You
with
can issue
the,
the variance with the conditions.
yeah, let's just come up with the
Do it?
conditions and
Okay.
we can make it, we can have the written thing be created, but, I mean, I think just general conversation here, a plan for cleanliness of the hygiene area, and do we want to address the private room as well, the door?
I think yes, if they have a
Should they-
private room with a door, then it either needs to be a swinging door, like Lindsay said, or it needs to have its own sink in there.
Can be equipped with one of those things, you put your foot on the bottom of the door and you pull, and then it opens that way. I don't know if that's an option, and Jason may know also, but that could be something.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of different options, I wouldn't
yeah.
pretend to try to
Sure.
design it for them.
Sure.
For liability reasons, but.
So maybe those are the two things, like a sanitation plan for
Yeah.
that hygiene area, and then the addressing the door.
Other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
I think we'll need to formalize a motion on that to grant the variance, so if somebody wants to craft that beautifully, or I can do it, but.
Oh my gosh, you do it.
All right, sure. I'll make a motion that we grant a variance to the body art regulations, section 5C7, with the following conditions: that the hygiene area have a sanitation plan that is submitted and approved by the Board of Health, and the private tattooing area has a door that can be opened without contact with the hands.
Yep.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay. Opposed, abstained. The motion passes. So, Lindsay, if we can get something pretty looking.
Yep.
So if we can maybe just have eyes on the variance, so we don't necessarily need to take motion on the action. Take action on the motion. On the thing that's written. Thank you. Too many things happening here. We have some eyes on it just so we see it and what goes out to them, but
Yeah.
as long as those conditions are met. Okay. Moving on, our discussion regarding the animal regulations. So, very preliminary discussion here because a lot of things are happening. Animal regulations we touched last year, And my last record of things ended with the same problem we just talked about 2 items ago, town council reviewing them and giving us changes to things that we didn't understand why were there. And then the trail stopped because we tried to address them and they didn't get addressed, and so it stopped. So that's gonna have to be part of that other discussion that we had earlier. Let's start there. I will say this, and I'm pulling my phone out as a tool here because I do have them in front of me. The only things that are addressed in here at current, and I guess why I'm saying this is maybe this is homework that we need to do and figure out what we want to include, look at other towns' animal regulations and address them. We have, and I'm just gonna go over skipping definition section, purpose and things. We have our permit and application requirements, great, which I will note, a lot of those are about pest management and storage of feed, how the fee schedule is determined, when the permits are expiring. So good procedural stuff in there, what needs to be submitted for approval by us. Stables, and if anybody recalls at town meeting 2 years ago, we passed the stable fee. For the life of me, I can't remember what it is at this point in time, but it should have been written in as a bylaw.
It was 30.
Was it 30?
believe it was
Whatever,
30.
I know it was the minimum to
think it
cover
was
the
30.
cost of the service. But that needed to be set per Massachusetts law, that is set by town meeting, so that's why that's written into here. And then the facility standards, facility being a pen, coop, et cetera, talking about what to do with dead animals, how they should or should not be constructed. And this is separate from zoning, from building, anything of that nature. This is just what we require. And you would actually know probably better than anyone else what building department has their own version of constructed related things there. Compliance with animal health requirements at USDA level, the Commonwealth, specific MGL things. And then just talking more about penalties and suspension, revocation of the permit, and variances. So that's all that's listed in there. We can keep that, and I think that the point at the time, when we started applying what we had there into, say, chickens, then it got ridiculous, what we require. But when we expanded it out to bigger animals, then it made a lot of sense. So I think we need to spend a little bit of time looking at it to go, okay, well, what's gonna make the most equitable sense, or how much can we differentiate between what applies to larger animals or exotic animals and smaller animals, and what does the state already do? And again, probably part of the issue of what town council was doing, because they're looking at it through a very myopic lens and not pulling in all those other situations, because we need to look at them, and they're just trying to make sure that the statute lines up with what it needs to. So I guess my question's gonna be, can we maybe do a little homework, figure out what, maybe talk to people, talk to our neighbors, figure out what certain issues we think need to be addressed in this particular regulation at this time. Look at surrounding towns, look at what's there. I think this is right now kind of an amalgam of a couple different towns. I can't tell you which ones. And one of the health associations templates kind of put it all together to make it into what it is at the moment. We can build that out and make it into what it needs to be, but I don't think we have enough information at this time to move forward with anything, other than we need to do a little more homework and make sure this makes the most sense. And I don't know if that makes
I
sense to the
agree.
rest of you all, but
I started talking to people who I know who have chickens, just get some framework. And then they had recommended reaching out to the Plymouth Agricultural County, because they have a lot of information about that. So I have not made that call yet. That's on my to-do list, and I do want to speak with them.
One thing you have to take into consideration, though, when you're reaching out to other areas is the density.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So
'cause they're more
Plymouth is gonna be a
populated.
lot different than we would be
Yeah,
here.
Right.
of course.
We'd be a lot different than South Boston would be.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, or down a Hull or something like that, but,
And also, we have neighbors that are right to farm communities that have a whole different set of
Right.
constraints or
Right.
freedoms,
When I
depending how you
was-
look at it.
when I was searching, I did find pieces of ours, the draft of ours, in a bunch of different, local areas, so I thought they looked great. There was a couple of brushed up areas like the chickens that I think we should take a look at, but
And
other
if,
than that, it's boilerplate.
and if I recall, one of the things we looked at, I think it was Foxborough, they converted animals into animal units, which basically allowed us that like 6 chickens is equivalent to like a goat, you know, or like something, and I'm making it arbitrary. But then that kind of, and it seemed silly at the time, but it kind of actually does make it scalable, which is maybe something we need to look at. But again, Foxborough, Abington, are they apples and oranges?
Right.
That, we need to do some homework, that's kind of what I'm getting at there.
I mean, I've seen some of them that haven't been changed since 1923,
Yeah,
you know, so.
most of ours are since the 90s, so at least we're
Yeah.
caught up there. So that's really the big cover thing on the animal regulations. I don't know if there's any specific things we wanted to discuss past that, but,
Good starting point.
okay. So let's do
Or
that.
restarting.
So let's do that. I will, again, this is probably going to be a rolling agenda item, and we'll just kind of compile as we have things. So, all right, animal regulations is here now. Next month, we'll talk about it again. Let's do our homework and continue that conversation.
Do you have a copy of the one that they gave the feedback on?
I do.
Can you
That
email that
if
out?
that wasn't the one that was already sent to you, then yes, I will
Yes.
send it again.
Yeah, it's
I don't
been
think I've
emailed
got
out.
that one. I have like the
Is
really
it, I don't know
old
if it's
one.
the red line one.
It is.
It is the red line one.
Well,
I
I want
took
the
before I
red
went
line
shopping
one.
and got.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so Chris sent out the red line one. So that's the one to
So
look
I
at.
probably have it somewhere in my emails
Okay.
then. Very good.
Awesome.
I'm gonna go find that one.
Great. Okay. Any further discussion? No? Okay. This next one is a vote to suspend the tobacco product sales permit for up to 30 days due to a first violation of 105 CMR Section 665040D and the Abington Board of Health regulation restricting the sale of tobacco products, Section D1, no tobacco sales to persons under 21 years old. Listed on your agenda are 4. I need to correct because I had a clerical error. It is 5 businesses that sold under what is it? Minors under the age of 21. They are Abington Vape and Smoke, Universal Smoke Shop, both Abington Sunoco's, that's the clerical error, I didn't put both addresses, and Deanne's Restaurant. So if you look in your packet, attached are both the, what is it? 665040, which is the Mass General Law, that's what we discussed there. It states in Section D that a sale of tobacco product by a retail establishment to a person younger than 21 shall result in the retail establishment being prohibited from selling tobacco products for up to 30 consecutive business days or for a longer term as enacted, adopted, or promulgated in a rule, regulation, or other measure by the appropriate legally designated health authority of the city, town, or other legally constituted governmental unit within the Commonwealth. The key thing there is, the question is not, do we suspend the license? Because it says shall. So we will be suspending their license for up to 30 days. What we need to determine today is how long to suspend their license for. These businesses have not been notified because part of notification requires us to tell them how long it's been suspended for.
I wondered about that.
So we need to choose the amount of time in which the license will be suspended. They will be notified. I'm going to recommend that our next Board of Health meeting be open for them to come for a hearing. And at that time, we can choose to amend the amount of time we suspended for if they want to try and explain themselves. And that we don't actually enact the suspension to go into effect until like November-ish. Give them some time to respond to that and prepare. Because during the time that they are suspended, if they sell only tobacco, they're going to be closed. We want to give them time to prepare for that. Or if they just sell tobacco in the stores, say like a gas station, they will have to cover up or remove the product completely. Again, make sure they can store those things, remove them from the shelf, have enough time to do that. So the conversation we need to have now is how long do we suspend the license for? And that's where I open the floor.
Can we give them 4 months to prepare?
Well, we should give them a decent amount of time. I threw out an arbitrary timeline, but let's give them a chance to do that. If the business is closing, if we decide to do this for 30 days and they're closing for that long, I think we owe it to them to give them at least that much time to prepare to be closed for a month. So I think that's fair, but we can decide to do however we want.
I have a question. I was reading through the regs, and is selling for under 21s different than maybe other violations? Because I saw something, a big section about different fines.
Yes, so they get fined $1,000 per offense. Those are all first offenses, so they get $1,000. Our regulations also say only 3 days, but this is a state violation which supersedes ours, so it's up to 30 days, so we can do more. And technically, if you want to read it, we could say that they violated it for 30 days in the state regulation and then 3 additional for our regulation violation. We could be horrible and do 33. We could be not so mean and do less than that. However we want to do it. I think we need to seriously consider and weigh out, and maybe, if they haven't been notified yet, this conversation might be a larger number and allow them to have a conversation with us and at some sort of hearing, and we can reduce that number if they have that conversation. But I think we need to hit them with a larger number because this is not something,
I agree with that.
Is it all first offense?
all first offense.
It says up to 30 consecutive business days, so
Right.
you'd have to take into consideration, you'd have the weekends, that's 38, and then any possible holidays, so.
Is it business days that they're open in business or
It
regular?
doesn't say.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Technically, the term business days. would be-
Right. Monday through Friday.
So keep that in mind too. I mean, there's no,
But I mean, I think logistically speaking, we're not gonna tell them that they can now open up every weekend.
right.
That,
No, I'm not
you
saying
know-
that, I'm
you
saying
know-
the consecutive
Sure.
time on
Right.
the fine that they get.
Just a little background too, maybe this question is coming up, how do we know that this happened? If you look, so the Department of Revenue did compliance checks on these businesses. As you can see, there is cigarettes in the lap of the person that went in and bought them. So this is something that, you know, we have the evidence, we know that they did it. This is not.
Without an ID?
Well, some of them, actually, if you look at the spreadsheet that's available with it, it says what happened.
I actually got an extra one if you.
So there are
That was
a
an
couple,
incident.
Oh, you got it right here, okay.
Yeah,
there were a
you
couple.
didn't have that, so.
There were a couple I know that I think are also getting additionally fined for not checking the ID as well. But that's separate from this. This is the suspension for just selling under the age. Checking ID is a completely different violation in
So
comparison.
this one's a double whammy then. Oh no, they're the only ones who did it. Everyone else did not.
Right.
4 out of 5.
So if somebody asked for an ID and then they still went ahead and sold, that seems,
That's even worse.
yeah.
Right.
Because they didn't ask, none of them asked the age after asking for the ID, so that's,
Oh, the law's very clear, you gotta brandish your ID.
Yes.
Right.
What are you looking for? A number? How many days?
Yes.
May I make a motion for 14 days?
Okay. We have a motion for 14 days. Do we have a second?
I don't know, I still want to think about it for a minute.
Okay. Not having a second, we're gonna let the motion go away, but it doesn't mean we can't bring it back up
Sorry.
again. We can just continue discussion.
So you were thinking you want to request they close shop for 2 weeks?
Close shop or close
So-
the sale of
Just the
tobacco?
sale of tobacco.
So,
Do we have any of these
That-
that just rely on, strictly on tobacco?
Two of
yes,
them.
2 of them.
Okay.
That was kind of one of my thought processes. It's gonna be already blatant to their clients, to their customers, that they've done something wrong, and I think 2 weeks is, for a first offense, is a slap in the face, but not a punch in the chin.
And I would appreciate hearing from them and like,
Well,
was it a new staff? Was there a language barrier? What were the circumstances that led this route?
Right, but they still need to follow the law.
Yeah,
I don't,
of course.
I don't.
So they need to
right.
change their policies then about training, or they're just being criminals.
Well, I don't want to accuse anyone of being criminals. I will, I like 14. I personally almost want to go to 21 and be willing to walk back to a number like 14.
I love a negotiation.
Yeah, but again, I don't, I want to come out with a number that just, this is serious.
I just said 14 to move the ball forward.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right.
So no matter what, they're gonna get fined $1,000.
Yes, and their license will be
Everyone's
suspended.
gonna get fined
For at least a day,
a day.
up to however long we
And
want it
all
to
of
be, up
this
to 30
time that
days.
they're closed or can't sell cigarettes more appropriately is gonna be an embarrassment to them in the community.
Yeah.
Right, it just, to add to that, it bothers me that 2 of these will probably not feel that. Or 3 of, yeah, 2 or 3 of these will not even feel this.
I,
because
yeah,
they sell other stuff.
Right, they can sell
Yeah.
other things like
Gas.
food
but I'm
and
willing to
gas.
bet you their pride will be hurt.
Sure.
They all take pride in their businesses, so it's gonna be something they won't want to repeat.
Right.
And
Well,
I
you're
think
al-
that's the goal.
You're also giving them the opportunity to come in here.
Yep.
And we're not imposing it at first and to find out, was it a new hire?
Right.
We just disregarded the procedures and did it, and where are they now? Are they still with them, or are they gone after
Right.
they're finding out about this, or?
Yeah, what's the plan of action?
And I
Right.
think you also said, to your point, that after that point where they come in, then we can modify.
Yep.
Right.
So I think that is as kind and generous as we could be. And also, that's a serious thing.
Jason and Carol, how do you feel about 14 days? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Well, I would just say that, we made the distinction between the smoke shops and the other businesses that are just selling cigarettes on the side and what an economic impact it's not equitable across the 5.
Right, that is
So,
tricky.
so that is tricky, because you can't adapt the law for like, okay,
But
you're a smoke
also,
shop, we're gonna be
If
nicer.
that's their sole business, then they should know better.
Well, right,
They should definitely know the rules of their operations.
yeah.
There's two sides to it. There's the law and knowing what's right.
Right.
But, you know, as a business owner for over 30 years, you know, things
Yeah.
happen, mistakes happen.
And I will-
Buyers come in, they're not
yeah.
trained, you know, somebody ruins something on a construction site and costs me thousands, you know, and what do? Do you train them properly how to do it? Do you immediately mitigate the issue and lose the trust here and get rid of that employee? Like, what's their plan of attack moving forward? But
And I will bring back the COVID-related thing where we talked about, we always have to weigh is it the right of the business or the free, you know, the protection of the individual, the community? You know, if we're selling to people underage, we have that as a law to
Right.
protect public health. So,
I mean, that part of it's plain and simple.
yeah, so I think I'm gonna make a motion that we suspend for 21 days in this letter.
Because you have to,
Yeah.
yes, you have to put something in the letter to move forward.
Right. With a hearing set for our next regularly scheduled meeting to allow them to,
Appeal.
yeah, well, not so much appeal, but have
I
a
agree with
conversation
that.
with us.
I'll second.
Second from Jason. Any further discussion on that? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so 21 days.
For the purposes of the letter, when do we want to,
That was actually my next motion. We need to pick a day that it's gonna go into effect. So what day would we like to? I threw out November 1 as a date. We can do sooner or later. I just think we should give
I
them
think it's too far away.
October 1, but I think we should at least give them September, in my opinion.
Why?
I think we should give them, if they're not gonna technically know the full amount of time officially until the 19th, we should give them at least the amount of time they're gonna be closed to figure it out. So I think backing it up to, I know, October 1 is fair.
Now, do we have to, question, Aaron, because I'm not sure, do we have to put that in there now, or can we put it as a decision that will be made on the hearing?
That's a good question.
I mean,
Well-
that's as fair as you can get.
Yeah, it is as fair as you can get. I mean, the way that it's worded, let's read that for a second, because maybe that'll give us some insight, right? Is
So
that,
then they could just shift all their product to one of their other stores. I'm just thinking like, how would giving them more time matter?
so the only thing I'll say is that it is, where is it? Inactive for up to 30 days by the Board of Health. So I don't necessarily think we have to put when, but we owe it to them to put that we're gonna make that decision. So maybe, I think that might be the right thing to do.
Yeah. I'd like to see what's behind it.
Yeah.
You know?
So can we do this? Because I don't want to have to reconvene to have this conversation again if we have to. Can we maybe opt for, let's put this as the next meeting, but then also have a date if we legally can't do that? And we just find out in between and we put which one?
I would do October instead of November.
Okay. I'm okay with, well, that was my idea, but October.
I'm okay with your second idea, yeah.
Yeah, well, we can, so, and then that way if we get to the 19th, we can have that conversation too, so.
Agreed.
I'll make a motion that this goes into effect, the suspension, permit suspension goes into effect on October 1st, 2025.
I'll second.
Second by Jason. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So we'll try and stick with the wording that it'll be decided upon, and if not, we'll go with the first. Okay,
So Lindsay will send something out to them, and they'll.
yeah, I think the
they'll
letter's
have the
scheduled to go out
opportunity to come next
tomorrow,
meeting.
yeah. Okay. The next is vote to approve the minutes of June 16th. Everyone should have a copy of those. I was not present, so I will run the vote, but I cannot vote.
I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from, oh my gosh, what was the date?
16.
From the 16th of June.
Motion to approve the June 16th meeting minutes by Katie,
I'll second.
seconded by Susan. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, sorry.
Abstain, I wasn't
Opposed,
here.
abstain, okay, that's 302.
Thanks.
Those are approved. Okay. Health agent report.
So the report that we have today was about, all about the tobacco, and stole my thunder, Aaron. And then, I actually didn't get a chance to look at the state site, but we changed the time that we are going to be testing Island Grove, there was, because of when the, so it is a treated body of water, and when the chlorine gets switched over, we were getting some very abnormal readings that they were not correlating to what we were seeing. And so that is our big exciting news, is we're not going first thing in the morning for sunrise, we are gonna go for lunch. That's really all that's big and exciting happening downstairs with the water sampling.
Was the morning worse, or?
So it was because coming out of the weekend, the way the chlorine runs out at the end of the weekend, we were not capturing an accurate read for what Island Grove is when there are swimmers there.
Gotcha.
And so to actually report what we need to report, we need the conditions that reflect when there are swimmers there. So we're just shifting, rather than having guards go in different hours to accommodate us, we're just shifting when we're testing, and the lab was fine with that.
Thank you, I'm always curious about that.
Yeah, so if anyone sees some kind of weird readings, they were not supposed to get reported out because they called and they were like, what, and we're like, no, wait, hold on. We think that might just be that there was an error with the chlorine. So it was nothing worth even, it was literally a chlorine error. So we figured it out with chemical, and that's it.
And I will ask, because we're getting close to that season, Triple E, mosquitoes, any issues?
Aaron, I swear if my phone rings now because of you, I will be directing all those calls to you. No, so knock on wood, we do have positive Triple E mosquitoes in the state. Knock on wood, none in our county as of yet. It is still early in the season. We typically see our first positives mid to late August, so.
Just one of those things to keep in mind. I know the state has their data put on the website too, so it's not something you need to always call the health department for. You can check online.
Or you can call us. Happy to answer.
So, all right, correspondence, health department or any member of the board have any correspondence to share?
I had a question, and this is a random question. A friend of mine had a neighbor who was cutting down a bunch of invasive plant, and they weren't sure how to dispose of the plant. And now I can't remember what the plant was. Hold on, I will tell you. And so we weren't sure, like, does it just go in the regular trash? It was
Hopefully it's not
Chinese
protected
wisteria.
resources.
So where would they even, do we have any idea?
So they would call us.
Okay,
Yep, and if it's not something that we know off the top of our, so traditionally, yard waste and plant material does not go in the trash.
right.
Stuff like that, there are very specific rules that it can go in. It is roots get bleached, or some of the, and it all depends on the species that you're trying to get rid of. It's either double bagged or bleached. It is species dependent.
Species dependent.
So just give us a call and we can either
Look it up.
give the answer or direct you to the people that can give the answer.
Okay.
That also goes for toxic plants, invasive and toxic, like poison oak, poison ivy.
Yeah, don't burn them. I had a patient in the ER burn them and then ended up
Ooh,
inhaled poison ivy.
thank you.
Right. Any other correspondence to share?
No.
None? That is the end of our agenda. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion, well, I need a
I'll make a
motion.
motion.
Motion with Jason. I'll take that as the second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. We are
Said I
adjourned.
have, voting members
Board.
awards. I felt left out. I instinctively said aye, I said I felt left
How
out.
you doing?
Hi, Lindsay, Alexandra, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, I do go on Facebook. I got through the